Can understand why in Israel at the end of the day they say, well, okay, so the Red Cross, let's say, is a Uber company, is a taxi company. What they can do is when there's an agreement, they come and take out the hostages. And even we heard from one of the hostages, the Ronashel, that was the most scariest moment when they were under your care in the ambulances. That was the first time her 4-year-old daughter said that she felt scared. So you're not even a good Uber taxi company.
I met the families that were involved in this situation. They saw how dangerous and critical it is to release hostages. They saw how complicated these operations are. We are there to do it. I don't see any other organization capable of doing this at the moment. And if it were just Uber, we would see Uber cars going back and forth. It's not possible. These are life-saving operations. They are highly dangerous. There are hundreds, if not thousands of people in the street. Anything can happen during these release operations. They have to be very carefully planned.
But would you say that as a humanitarian organization, if that is the situation after 75 days, it's true to conclude that you're not able to do your job, that you might be failing to do your job?
Look, so far we have been able to implement the release of over 100 hostages. This is important. Now we continue to work with the two sides so that we can implement the release of the remaining hostages and also ascertain the fate of those that we don't know what happened to them. There might be hostages that haven't survived that we also need to bring home. This is the work that we cannot do without the agreement of the two parties. This is urgently needed, and I'm appealing to both.
But why do you say the agreement of the two parties? Israel is fully participating. It's not the two parties who are not agreeing.
Israel and Hamas need to agree on the modalities according to which we can access and release the hostages.
The side that is preventing you from reaching the hostages is Hamas. Why can't you say that out loud and clear?
We are not less frustrated about this than you are. It is our job to help in these situations, and we will continue to do our work. But Hamas has demands against Israel. Now, Israel has to negotiate with Hamas through an intermediary, which in this case is Qatar. They have to find this agreement so that we are let know where the hostages are, because we currently don't know where they are. But we don't know when and where to go to access them. That's a simple fact. We cannot enforce this.
I've just visited the European Gaza hospital. What shocked me the most were the children with atrocious injuries and at the same time having lost their parents.
And I recall it was about 2 minutes long. You talked about the moral failure of the situation of the people in Gaza. They are in dire situation, we all agree. But you mentioned the hostages only at the end and for 3 seconds. How is that balanced? Or maybe if you would have talked more about the hostages, it would have put pressure on Hamas.
I mentioned the hostages, and I mention hostages a lot in other interviews. I address both sides equally when there are civilians who suffered. This is my job. We know how to do our work.
But obviously you're not able to do your work when it comes to the hostages. In this situation, you're not pressuring Hamas at all. When you were in Gaza, you went to a hospital in Gaza, led by Hamas. Why don't you demand, the very least, to say, if you want me to go into your hospitals, I want to make sure that this and this medicine go to the hostages, or let me see the hostages kept in the hospital.
This is what we are demanding every day. This is what I demanded also when I met with the leadership of Hamas in Qatar. We don't only want to leave the medicine with them, we want to be capable of seeing that they are actually being assisted in the way they need.